All right. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Yes. Welcome to this beautiful Sunday. Such a beautiful Sunday. I'm going to actually hand it over to Michael Smith to start with the opening question, just to welcome everyone in properly. And we have such an amazing lineup today. What if there's just one of the secrets that goes even more deeply in your mind or your heart that changes your life forever? What if there's no accident that you're on the call today? I'm so excited for what we can experience together. Mike?
And it's good to be unmuted. I'm grateful for the unmute button. What I'd like to just start off today as we're coming close to Halloween, All Saints Day, Day of the Dead. What is one or two attributes that you have from your ancestors that you're grateful for? So if you just put in the chat, if everyone would put in the chat so everyone can see everyone's answers, and if someone would like to share something about their ancestors, whether you knew them or not, in this lifetime, to share with us about those who have come before us. And recently, I'll just share one quick thing that happened to me. It really had a deep meditation where I really got in touch with my ancestors, and I was envisioning this whole stadium full of ancestors. You know, you go back 30 generations, that's 1 billion people of ancestors that we have, and we might not know their names, but I recognize their noses on my face, and that we all share this code of life that has been transmitted over many generations, physically, our physical attributes, but also many psychological attributes that we were raised by parents who were raised by parents who were raised by parents that experienced traumatic things in their life that were passed on for generations. But I'm very grateful for the family that I have and the ancestors I have, and for the challenges and the strengths that I have in my life. But if there's someone else who'd like to share about their ancestors, you can raise your hand and share a story or something that you're grateful for. And one of the things that I'm very amazed at, that most people don't know their third great grandfather, even second great grandfather, grandmother's names. With everything we do to raise our children, if you think about, will you do me a favor and tell your kids to tell their kids to tell their kids my name? It's too much. And that the fact that we lose touch with our ancestors so quickly, but as I said before, their noses are sitting on our face. And I see that Stephen, you have your hand up. Would you like to share something?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I remember as a child, my grandmother coming into my classroom and telling the story of their escape from Russia into Poland, how she sat on my grandfather's, my great uncle's shoulders. He was underwater, she was above the water as they walked across this river in Poland, came to the United States. And she told this story, and all of us kids were just like, I'll never forget that. I was maybe in fourth or third grade. And then we went to Ellis Island together when Ellis Island first opened. And she looked around, and you could tell she could see what was happening back then when she was a child, that you never told anyone you were sick because you had to go back. And afterwards, she walked over to the woman giving the speech and was telling her what she saw. And they sat with her for hours and took down notes about what she saw and what was there. And what I got from my grandmother is she came here not knowing the language, but she knew how to type. And she joined this Westinghouse conference, competition, and she won. And she got a job at this nursing home in Rockaway, New York. and then they realized she didn't speak English. So such a powerful story that we can get from our ancestors that really show us, like you said, the noses on our face, show us who we are. So thank you, Michael.
Beautiful. And I think that, it's important to keep in mind that we are tomorrow's ancestors today. And that the way that we live our lives and the experience that we have and we pass on to live large. So thank you, Stephen and Nehemiah. Do you have your hand raised? You'd like to share something? And you're muted though.
You're muted.
I'm sure it's something amazing and we'll hear it as soon as you unmute. Nehemiah, you're muted.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly.
Sorry. My main story will be for next week because things are unfinished with my brother. But by the way, we both have our fathers on our nose, but one of us is bright, look like Ashkenazi, the other one look like Sephardi, and we always argue who is a positive and who is a negative, But anyway, so by the way, Steve, am I wrong completely, or do I remember you from Siddha Yoga? I don't know, but I'm wrong?
No, I was there with Dr. Naram around 9/11, and we were doing the project Serving Those Who Served.
Okay, so my memory is still working. Okay, thank you. It's good to see you again. So anyway, I have two fathers to choose from. I have three because my original father and then two adopted father. So usually I choose my original father, whom I didn't know. He died when I was 3 months. Went to fight, and I got in touch with memory how he was holding me in his hands and say, Chemi, my name, I don't think I'm going to come back from this fight. But I was 3 months, but I managed to get in touch with this memory. But I'll be with you through your life. And he was, until I met my guru, and then he sent me to my guru. But that's a story for next week. But just I want to say, I chose another father. My adopting father, Azriel, was not religious, but he knew the Jewish tradition from A to Z. And his motto was, I'll say it in Hebrew and then I'll translate, Ma'olam lo miharti, ma'olam lo icharti. I never was in a hurry, I never was late. Everybody in the family was A-type, and they all died, all the kibbutz people died long before him. His wife, they were 70. Unlike his generation, people who came and weren't so healthy, he was short of 3 months when he left the body completely in clear mind. So I'm trying to learn now to take things easy, and I'm more relaxed, and I'm in time, and I'm not in a hurry. So this is my new father, or the father I'm choosing for now. But
that's great.
I'll tell you, because then I'll have some update about my brother, which is not finished. The story is not finished. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nehemiah. And Jacob. And
hello. I'm parking here to purchase my groceries at the Indian food store. And got it. Okay. Well, for me, the situation with ancestry, I mean, as a therapist, it goes a little bit deeper than just your physical lineage, but also your spiritual lineage, And so many times we find the answers to things that we're carrying and things that we're working on in other places, and it's incredible and amazing. But one of the true values that I find with Dr. Naram's teachings is it's about bringing yourself forward instead of backwards, and through love, honoring, and whatever it is that bring you to this moment, to the now, right? To the place that you're living. And it really helps people to let go all the things that they've been carrying forward. I mean, I do honor my relatives, of course, my ancestors, But more and more I seen, you know, how different I'm becoming from them as time's going by. And the way that I reframing this or understand this is that basically it's kind of like creating a seed of transformation, a beautiful seed that is getting planted in all the people. And I am wondering how many of my ancestors or my physical ancestors did the same thing, you know? So I'm only taking forward something that was delivered to me inside of me because it was a burning desire inside of me to seek for other things other than the traditional things that the whole family were living generation after generation after generation after generation, right? So it's a very, very deep and interesting topic, and for sure, I mean, I strongly recommend everybody to go deep and explore that avenue because it's impressive.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jacob. And there's so
Pleasure,
many great things people have written in the chat about their ancestors. Never give up, compassion, empathy, from my great grandmother's kindness and love, being excited about customs from my mom, determination, unconditional love of my mother, resilience, bravely travel to a new world, resilience, generosity, and love. Think about all these things that our descendants will say about you, and on the dash of our lives, the dash between the two dates, the day we were born, the day that we die. You know, our lives seem so long, but also so short simultaneously. And I love the tradition that we have behind us, 7 generations of people who have come before us, asking the same questions as the 7 generations who will come after us, who have yet to be born. Are you the one? Are you the one we've been waiting for? And I believe that each of us is the one we've been waiting for, to make the most of our lives, to make our lives the best that we can be for ourselves and for our loved ones. And it's just so great to be on this call with everybody, to be sharing this moment of our lives together, and to be able to fully breathe in this moment and to experience our lives fully with these teachings that have been handed down in this amazing lineage over time, to be here with us now at this time of our lives. And I see, Susie, you have your hand up.
Yeah.
Would you like to say something, Susie?
Yes, please. I'd like to honor, I have 2 sets of families. My biological parents that brought me into this world, and my adoptive parents that raised me. And I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. You know, there's so many people that have played important roles in our lives, and you know, it reminded me just my sons were very close with a boy, and they were friends till the 8th grade, and they were inseparable, and then they went their separate ways, and his best friend growing up from the age of about 3 to 14 has had some struggles with drugs, addiction, and other things, and it just breaks my heart that I wasn't a better parent to my son's best friend for so many years. And that I asked myself, how could have I done more? And I can't go back, but asking myself today, going forward, how can I do more? You know, can I visit him in jail? Can I? It's tearing at my heart this morning. So thank you for bringing that in, Susie.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Michael. So beautiful. I love this concept about, bringing in our ancestors. In fact, the Spanish translation of the book is actually Secretes Ancestrales de Maestro Sanador, which is secrets of the ancestors, the healing secrets of the ancestors. And, it's like we have holidays like Day of the Dead, and the beautiful thing about this community, this global family, is we get to learn from all different cultures and celebrate all different holidays from all different faiths and all different backgrounds and learn from them. And what a beautiful thing to honor the day of our ancestors. And today, also, I like, Mike, what you're saying about the powerful choices that we make that impact our kids and our future kids. Today is the last day people can actually register for the upcoming guided detoxes. So the 7-day detox option, the 30-day delicious detox option. There's also, we have a subconscious reprogramming detox option, and there's a bundle that has it together. But it's amazing, Michael, even you or other people on the call, if you've already done one of the detoxes, I just want you to put in the chat, yes, if you've already done it. And then also, like, for those who haven't done it, just maybe just some indication of what was the top benefit you received from it. I think that would be really beautiful. And then today on the call, we have some real special guests that are going to be sharing their experiences as they've used the ancient secrets or applied the ancient secrets, including the miraculous Hmong soup. So I want to go to one of my co-hosts for today's call, which is Julia Graydon, to introduce our special guest. Well, we have this very powerful doctor here on the call to share some of his experiences. And while I do that, I also want to just welcome anyone who's new. I saw joining us in the Facebook Live community today is Amber Wolf. So glad to have you on the call. And if anyone is new, I just also want you to put in the chat, just, I'm new. And then we can send all the love. We have actually some welcome angels that will just be reaching out to you, making sure that if you have any questions about what is this thing? What did I just show up for? What is this amazing experience where we're looking at the ancient secrets, how they can apply in our life? So, Julia Graydon, yes, please.
Hello,
wonderful,
hello.
powerful.
Namaskar, namaskar. Yes, today I have the privilege of introducing my physical therapist. He's an internationally known physical therapist who's done a lot of training on chronic pain. And about 8 years ago, I had a brain tumor removed and had a plate put in my head. And after that, my NUCA cervical spine specialist sent me to do some other treatments. And my physical physician sent me to Dr. K, otherwise known as Howard Knudsen. And Dr. K, he has transformed my life. And when I look at the lineage of medical practitioners in my life, when we're looking at ancestry, there's also these masters that we've learned from, that we've been healed by. And Dr. K is truly one of my masters and someone that is my go-to when I'm in a lot of pain, to help align. And his practice is quite unique. I'm going to let him share a little bit. When I first went to him, I have a lot of trouble with my atlas being in alignment and with headaches and emotional things. So I'm just going to turn it over to Dr. K and let him share with you his experiences with Ancient Secrets, because after a while, a couple of years ago, when I was working on proofreading the book and getting the mung bean soup recipe in the book that we now all have, this treasure, I shared it with Dr. K, and he was able to digest it, and not only one time, but he's read it over 3 times. So I'm going to hand it over to him now and have him share how has this Ancient Secrets book and experience, Dr. K, how has this affected your life, and how have you used it and implemented different things in the book and the soup, and in your practice used the marmots?
Well, thanks, Julia. So we've known each other for how many years? Maybe 6 years or so. So we had always kind of talked about different things that we were learning about self-help, and I'm very much into that. And so she came across and said, okay, there's this new book coming out, and she told me all about it. And so this is my book, and it's a little bit weathered, it's I've gone through it quite a bit. The papers are falling out in some spots, like right here. But
we got to get him a new book.
Yeah, fantastic.
The first time I read it, I was just trying to get something that would help me at that point, and so I actually started to do follow the recipes and I have a freeze dryer. So I decided, hey, let's do some freeze drying of the energy drink. And then I started to do the mung bean soup. And I started doing some of the marmas too. I'm somewhat familiar with different energy points with doing different things like energy tapping and that sort of thing. And so I have a practice where I've helped people in that realm too, even though I'm kind of focusing in on physical therapy. After I did that part, I knew I needed to read the book again. And by the time I read it, maybe the third or even fourth time, I started to look at the principles that are in the book that I really didn't grasp at the first time that I read through the book. And so I started to look at, what did Dr. Naram do to improve his practice? And so I looked at those areas so that I could implement those principles. And so I started to look at some of the principles that he brought about, especially everybody needs to know their purpose. You need to figure out what it is that you are supposed to do in your life. And I obviously have gone through and I've learned my purpose, but I needed to hone that a little bit more. And so that within the last year, I've really made a concerted effort to figure out my purpose, focus in on my purpose. As you go down, there's kind of a path that you start to follow. Once you start this whole process and you follow the principles, you follow a path and you're guided on this path. And so I've felt like I've been guided on this path throughout my career and throughout being a physical therapist, which different courses to take, which areas to focus in on. And so this year, I really got into my 3 focus points. I decided to make myself this handout that I bring with me, every day. And what I do is I write down 3 different things that I do that are wins for the day, but they're based on the priorities that I've set. And so here's my priorities right there, have to do with my business, my wife, and then my health. And so some of those things that I worked on, for instance, my health I figured out that I needed to lose some weight. I needed to get in shape. I have some goals. I want to, I actually have a picture of Tom Cruise because, he runs real fast and in his movies. And so I was like, well, I want to be able to run fast. So I've been working on that. And I've actually had to make some major changes because of some health problems that I just discovered this year. And so as I found those health problems, I go, okay, the doctors basically say, you cannot really do anything with kidney problems. You have kidney disease. You can't do anything with that. But I knew that there's lots of things to do. We can work on detox. We can work on what we're eating. And anyway, so I did a lot of research and I figured out a path to go on, and I've actually improved my metabolic problems quite a bit so far.
So Dr. K, explain how you used the mung bean soup and some of the principles on that journey. How did you implement the things that you learned from Dr. Naram in that journey of your own healing and using it with either your patients or your kids?
So I went through, and part of my little chart here that I have the I have the ancient achievement system with the marmas that you press on your finger and going through the process of discovery and what is the purpose, what do I want? And so I did that for myself, but then I had an experience where, similar to Dr. Naram, my mom has a lot of knee problems, and right now, in the past, it's gotten worse and worse. So I took her through that process. And it was really, it was, you know, it's amazing. You have to ask the right questions to get them thinking right. And her goal is to go back to Redondo Beach in California and to be able to walk along the pier. And I had her visualizing that, and I had her, you know, pressing the Marma points. And I'm confident that we're going to be doing that, you know, in the future. And I've also done that, the same process with my son. My son is 16, he has autism. He is more of a high functioning autism, so he has Asperger's. And you know, he's been kind of difficult to get answers from. Like if I ask him questions, he doesn't really want to answer. But I use this process, and we figured out 3 different things that he wants. And then I'm having him visualize those, and we're working on them. And I think that the whole point is you have to have a purpose. It starts the process. And then as you follow the, you know, and review your purpose, you know, the path will be opened up. And for him, he had to change schools, and he's already found a friend that one of his goals was to be able to, you know, have friends that would invite him to do things after school. And so he's on that path, and he started to make changes and make improvements.
So you've been sharing the what do you want Marma on the finger with your mom?
Yeah,
and
yeah. So we did the Marma. You know, for me, I wanted to be more like Dr. Naram, because in the book it talks about how he focuses all of his attention when he's working with people. And so I would use this point right here and press on it before I would see a patient, and it started to help me to focus. And you know, then I would be able to uncover some of the things that patient needed. I also like the principle of you have to understand what the patient needs. I really like that story about how Dr. Naram was, you know, he was in practice in Ayurvedic, and he had a patient that went off, you know, left, and he saw him again, and he was like doing better. And he goes, well, what did you do? And, you know, it came to the conclusion that Dr. Naram didn't understand him at all. And that this great master understood this patient and it helped him. So that's another part that I really want to understand my patient. That's one of my goals, is to understand. And so through that, I do certain examination, certain types of examination, including muscle testing. And I also observe quite focused. My observation of the patient is quite focused, so that I can uncover and see things that help me to understand that patient and their problems.
And that's been my experience of you, Dr. K, is that you do seek to understand. You're very good at listening. And this is what Dr. Naram also taught so heavily, was to listen, to learn to listen, and to really try to understand the patient. And through the muscle testing and your model is a fascial distortion model in getting to the muscles and finding the problem and then releasing that. So I've appreciated so much what you've done for me. And I know that just seeing your book and what you've done with the soup and having it freeze dried. In fact, he freeze dried some soup that we took on a trip with it. That was amazing. So thank you so much for coming and sharing that with us.
Real quick, you're making me so happy right now. And actually, Dr. Susan, Dr. Joseph Engman, who are also watching, they just put in the chat, this is so incredible. Thank you. But I want to give you a chance, you know, as physicians to even hear this beautiful story. What's your response or reaction to what Dr. Howard Knudsen's been doing for himself with his patients and with his practice?
Well, for me, as I'm listening to you, first thing is I'm so impressed with how deeply you've gone into the book and how the teachings have become so alive for you. And how you're applying them. And it's kind of making my heart very happy, Clint, and like to really realize what people are doing with this information, is incredible. And I've been sitting here creatively thinking about going back through the book with my questions about how will this really teach me in a deeper way. You've motivated me to say, wow, I have to go through it again and again and really awaken to what are my personal questions and how can I apply them with my patients. It's incredible. And the thought that you're doing this and we haven't met you before, now I'm just thinking, wow, there are people all over the world that are doing this. And it really is achieving Dr. Noram's goal, every heart, every home. And I just want to thank you so much for how creatively and how powerfully you're using the teachings. It's a great motivator. So thank you.
Thank you. I just would comment that there's a lot of information in the book. As I've read other books and heard other people that are talking about this type of work, and then I go back and read the book and I go, oh, it's in there. It's already in there. So it covers quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad that you saw that, Dr. Knudsen. And also, even one of the people when I was in Italy, a physician that said just from reading the book, she became a better doctor. And I was like, why is that? And she talked about how just by being associated with a great, with someone who was a master in the healing space, and by reading the book, she was studying his life, very similar to what I heard from you. And it made me so happy to hear about how things had transformed, but you've taken it to a new level. I want to say that by having your cheat sheet with you, by focusing so clearly on what you want, by having all those things in place. And, as you're sharing, it reminds me also that coming up is the second time we're ever offering the 100-day course in Ancient Secrets. So you're sharing so beautifully the story of Dr. Ram learning the Ancient Secrets. And when he was first with his master, he was there for 100 days. And it wasn't about information, it was about transformation. And so that upcoming course, the 100-day course, is starting, I think, January 14th, and we can put the link for that. But as you're applying it, it makes me so happy that just from the book, even this is my first time talking with you. I've never talked with you before, but hearing how deeply that you've integrated, I know it would make Dr. Ram so happy. I'm so pleased by the difference that will happen in the lives of your patients. And then anything particular regarding Hmong soup, because today is the last day people can sign up for this delicious detox, the guided detox. Any particular experiences with Hmong soup that you want to share?
I did, like I said, I did freeze dry it. So then I could add some hot water on a daily basis. I could just bring it to work, and that made it simple for me because I'm kind of, I work long hours. And so, I did the recipe that Julia had showed me, and she has a video of that. And anyway, my health improved with doing the mung bean. I never did the just strict mung bean. I would do mung bean along with other more of a plant-based diet, but it was just something that could help as far as appetite suppression. I could eat that and stay away from some of the other bad foods that my family were eating we had a reunion, went down to Lake Powell, and everybody was eating kind of some really greasy fried stuff. And I decided I'd eat the mung bean soup before we went. And like I said, it has an appetite suppressor. I went in and I really didn't feel like eating any of that, so it's one of those things, once you start to eat the right way, then you can avoid eating the bad things.
Do you mind if I say something too?
Please, Dr. Stephen.
I have brought Ayashakti into my practice, both physically with doctors coming from India. Dr. Ronak's coming in a couple of weeks, but my patients so appreciate it because it allows them to take care of themselves at home also. So they're really involved doing the detox, cooking for themselves, doing the marma, becomes less dependent on someone like me. And I love that. People can do their healing at home. And I learn every time. So what I suggest to you, Dr. K, is that bringing Ayush Shakti doctors, you learn from them. I always talk about going up lineage. There's so many great people to learn from. And anytime, if you want to reach out, I'm happy to introduce you to people. And the learning is unlimited. And thank you so much for my learning from you now.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
It's so great to see you doctors talking about this technology, this ancient technology for transforming people's lives, and for sharing this. There's a saying, a quote, that the doctor of the future is the patient. And I really like that idea that each of us become our own doctor and become responsible for our health in a way that nobody will care about your health more than you. And that our physicians can guide us to be better caregivers to ourselves, and that we would really learn to listen to our bodies in ways that you, Dr. K, and other physicians that teach us to listen to our bodies do so well. And I know Dr. Naram would love to see his picture on that card of yours with Tom Cruise in his Top Gun outfit. Yeah.
Also, Dr. K, Kaylee is saying, can Dr. K post a photo of his cheat sheet? Maybe you could share it somehow. We can share it in the chat or Facebook. Thank you so much. And then also, Mike, maybe you can read some of the comments of people who have been doing the 30-day detox or have done it in the past, some of the ways in which their lives have changed. That would be really fun. And then one of the people is Julia.
Yeah, this is great. 8 pounds lighter, life transforming, diminished pain, more energy, more clarity, lost weight and pain. And the pain is, Dr. K, isn't it correct? The pain is very much associated with the inflammation that people are experiencing, and the decrease in the inflammation decreases the pain they experience.
Yes, it's absolutely involved. Part of my issue, I was diagnosed with stage 2 kidney disease, and I was quite inflamed. This has only been 3 months, but I had to eliminate some different things. Kidney disease sometimes is associated with oxalates. So I discovered that I'm really susceptible to becoming inflamed when I eat oxalates, which are in spinach and some other foods like almonds and chocolate and that sort of thing. And so what I've done is I've eliminated the oxalates. My inflammation has gone down so much, along with I'm doing some things to improve my metabolic health. And so that inflammation is now gone, or practically all gone. And I did have aches and pains in my body that have now been eliminated. And so yes, inflammation is a big part of pain.
I think inflammation is like the number one cause of so many chronic diseases, metabolic diseases. And I learned something very interesting about just even the word metabolic or metabolism, and it's the process of converting food into energy, to bioenergy that the body can use. And based on the foods we eat is based on the energy that the body has to heal and to repair itself and to function. And the 2 of the foods that, in my understanding, cause the most inflammation are sugar and oil. And
yes, I eliminated the oil. That was the big one. Especially the seed oils.
And the thing called vegetable oil that has nothing about vegetables in it. That
yes,
it's a very misleading. But just to read some more of these comments, pain relief after 20+ years relief. It's going to be my first detox with Hmong. Very excited. Well, very excited for you too, Dorothea. And top benefit was completing it. It changed my perception of myself. And how many people have started something and like, "Oh, I just can't do it." 30 days comes and goes, whether you do it or not. And I would say you don't have to do it for 30 days. You can't do it for 30 days. You can only do it today. And if you just do it today, don't worry about tomorrow. Just do it today. And pretty soon 30 days will have come and gone. So just think of it as today.
Also, yeah, I like that a lot. And also I want to say, what Dr. K brought in, it's focusing on what do you want? What do you want? And how cool, what if healing can be delicious and simple in some ways? What if you could go through a process supported by others that's healing and delicious? As Dr. K was talking about focusing so much on what he wanted, it reminded me of this last week. I had an opportunity here in Austin for us as a core team on the Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer family to meet, and we really focused on what do we want individually and collectively. And it was such a miracle for me, these people that I've been serving with for over 3+ years, to meet them in person, to meet Carol Ray in person, to meet Cornelia. I mean, I'd met her before, but a long time ago. And it was the first time that Carol had met Jaina, or that John DeLise had met most of the people, and it was just such a beautiful, beautiful experience in which there's also lots of Aditi Devabhawa moments. So even right now, Carol is just in a moment of needing some extra healing and love being sent her way. Oh, here's Joey and Jaina, the first time we went out to the parking lot. Let's see if it comes up here. It's so beautiful. Here she is. Carol Ray needing some extra healing and love. Let's see if the photo comes up. Wherever, I don't know, Carol, if you're watching this or not, but I hope you feel it. If we could just put our hands together. I can't because I'm like holding my device, but let's say I'm gonna rub my heart like this. Oh, Carol, thank you so much. I love you and I'm with you, Carol. And it was actually through Carol and through these other amazing people and through feedback from a lot of you, including my mom, that they said, last time we did the detox, even sometimes it was confusing. And so this time it's different because every day we'll do a morning activation call where we'll answer questions, get people aligned in the same way. It's funny that it's intentionally during the holidays, intentionally. What if during Thanksgiving, instead of Thanksgiving, this season where oftentimes so many people get sick, what if you're healthier than ever? Dr. Ram says, if you change your food, you change your future. And so what if this holiday your family doesn't understand what you're doing because you're not eating the same holiday food? Instead, you're choosing a very powerful path to be healthier and happier. And Julia Graydon is such a good example of trailblazing. Dr. Howard Knudsen, thank you for inspiring me by what's possible. And Julia, I want to go to you just a little bit more about your story. And then we have another special guest. I've been holding up the book in Japanese. Having the book being translated into 30 languages is so fun. I don't know if any of the translators are on the call right now. I want to acknowledge them, Yukiko, Reiko, Ayako. But we have a really special call, a special interview with Ken Honda, who is the #1 published author of personal finance and personal development and finance books in all of Japan. And on the back of the book, he's one of the very first people that's endorsing it. And just what's possible in each country is unbelievable, as it's being launched next in Russian. And then after that, we have a new launch in Farsi. Will be available all through Iran. And then, Odia and German and all these languages as they're coming out. It's just so humbling. And that the healing can be so simple and so delicious. And so, Julia, I want you to share. First of all, I want to thank you from my heart that as the book was being published the first time, you're the one who I turned to say, can you make sure you make the Hmong soup recipe many times and make sure that we tweak it so that even if someone's doing this for the first time, it's delicious. And I just want you to just share anything from your story about, some of the miracles that you've been seeing and some of the blessings that have come into your life as a result of following this path for yourself. Actually,
Yes.
Real quick, can you lead us in sending love to Dr. Knudsen as well? I just want to. And then
Yeah, Dr. Howard Knudsen, he's so amazing, and there's so much more to him. He's just saved my life so many times, and he is one of my favorite people on the planet. He's my go-to. I see him every single week. And let's just send some love to Dr. K for healing for him and his family. and the continued journey. And my desire is that we do a clinic in his office and we have a big mung bean soup day that we have everybody come and eat mung bean soup.
Thank you.
I think it'd be great to get some of his mung bean soup to the space station, the freeze dried.
Yes. It's really good. We took a bag of it with us on a trip, and we ate it every day on the trip. It was really fun to have that. So thank you, Dr. K, for being here.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Part of your story. Now, I'm going to share some of my story. There's more story to tell than we have time, but I want to just share a few tidbits. Now, I met Clint several years ago, back when.
Julia, just real quick before you share your story, is there an echo for me, or it sounds okay?
It's echoing.
But it's really clear stereo too, so you can keep talking.
Is my
let me
sound
try
okay?
this way. Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
that's better.
I just wanted to acknowledge, I don't know if as you're launching into your story and the transformations that happen when you apply these secrets, I just wanted to anchor in one more time and just thank, I don't know if Aaron and Heidi are still on the call, but Aaron and Heidi and Cornelia and the group that gathered, that is really helping in so many ways to move forward the work. Cornelia, could you just speak to like your experience about what happened this last few days? And I just want to acknowledge, and then Julie, I want to come to you, but I just, because Dr. Knudsen was talking so powerfully about discovering what do you want. And it's amazing how he says, how much is actually in the book? And so as a team, as we're going through and looking at it, it's like, oh my goodness, this applies to us even more than ever. And Aaron and Heidi walked us through this process that was so life-changing. Every single one of us walked out of there like having significant transformations happen in our life, deep healing, because of just actually applying the secrets in a better way than ever before. And Cornelia, can you just share your experience real quick with that?
Yeah, definitely. One of the main things was that we were all, from the very moment, guided by love. And that was the overarching theme for all of us. And to actually meet in person and hugging each other, which was a big part of our party, it just made everything so much more real, because as we just heard, I hadn't met anyone except Clint of the whole team. And so really realizing that everyone, of course, is a physical person, and the picking up on the energy of each one, it just brought us together as a team. The understanding of what a team is became very clear while we were here in Austin. And actually, one person is here on the call that we haven't mentioned. That's Brenda. And Brenda, I don't know if you want me to share that, but she opened her house to us, and we had the most amazing time. And the love that she shared with us and opened her house to all of us to have this space. Brenda, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you doing that. That because with your openness and giving us the space to be in such a safe place, facilitated our openness and facilitated our just beingness together. And it was a wonderful process. There was so much openness and so much really good talk. And oh, Heidi, here we are. So good to see you. And Aaron as well. So it was really, I would say now we knew we were a team, but now we are a family. And that is a really amazing place to work from.
Delighted to host you all. You were easy to host, and all the love made it just fabulous. Everything perfect.
Yeah, I want to say that I was in so much awe at the magic and miracles of everything unfolding, like how these magic and miracles unfolded, that I met Brenda. I was sitting next to her the same day I was knighted at the dinner afterwards. And then how it happened that Cornelia was able to come into the country when it seemed like it was impossible weeks before. how is it happen? Everyone had their schedule open, that even Jonathan DeLees was able to drive in, and just the wave of like healing miracles that happened in that space made it there's no, and then also, how come Krishna just happened to be in Austin at the same time that we're having this brainstorm? There's so many things. It's like sometimes love is guiding in such a way, it makes it so obvious that whatever are the forces of love, whatever are the powers of love that are on planet, want this work to move forward. And there's no accident you're listening right now. You know, so if you're curious at all about how do I implement it more, what a golden opportunity with the detoxes coming up. What a golden opportunity with the 100-day course coming up. What a golden opportunity today itself, from listening to Julia's story and then listening to Ken Honda, this very famous author in Japan, talking about how excited he is now to have the book in Japanese, and also sharing some of his secrets from his book, Happy Money. What if you realize that love is guiding you, that there's no accident where you are, why you are here? And so Cornelia and Aaron, Heidi, everyone that showed up and everyone that supported in the brainstorming call, we had a global brainstorming call where people joined these ideas about how to fulfill Dr. Ram's mission to help these ancient secrets move forward in every heart and every home. We're going to apply them, and we're going to do it with joy. We're going to let love guide. And so I just wanted to, I want to make sure I anchored that in, because every day is magical. Every day is mystical. And just even for me, like, I'm so much in awe and in love with what is unfolding. I mean, having Dr. Howard Knudsen and Julia, I've never heard him, I've never met him, I've never heard him speak before, but having that mystical, having just him share, it just still is making me in awe. Dr. Susan, Dr. Joseph, I see you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to make the point that we all have this opportunity to get together with each other in Sedona, June 6th to 8th. And we all have this opportunity to have what you have and become a family, and to just bathe in this love. So June 6th to 8th in Sedona, I'm going to be there. My heart's going to be there. Want to see everybody there. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. Yes, I'm so glad you did. Andrea for Humanity, if you can make sure that we put that link. So everyone who wants to hug in person and have a magical unfolding in that. I think, you know, there's something, obviously when love guides one of us, but then when you're in a room where love gathers, you know, there's something so magical that happens. It's the magnification of that possibility in each of our lives that I felt like we definitely experienced really in a big way. And to have that magnified on another scale with the event in Sedona, June 6th to 8th. Yes. All right, Aaron and Heidi, anything you want to share before we?
Yeah, to the hearing everybody talk about letting love guide, one of the biggest things that I learned or got from that time that we had together was that love is actually always guiding. It's always guiding. What we need to do is just allow for the receptivity of it. So it's about trusting what's coming through, because the love is always there. And so we always have a choice of where we just want to attune to, and then whatever comes through, to trust it, that it is from love, and to surrender to that. So the trust and the surrender, and I think vulnerability, being vulnerable to allow it to come through. Those are three big things that I got out of the weekend.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. And you guys, you did such a beautiful job, such a powerful job at navigating that space and opening us all up to just increased levels of vulnerability. And I don't know how to say thank you enough, but I feel like the world will be a better place because you, it's interesting, Aaron, he says, I only want to do things in my life now that I fully believe in. And to have him say, I want to volunteer to help make sure that the core team has clarity and that the structures are in place so that way things can grow in such an elegant, beautiful way. Like for you to do that and give that gift from your heart, and for you and Heidi to show up with so much love and change all of our lives that will then change the world. It is so remarkable. And I don't know how to say thank you enough. And so I don't know, I was going to share about the gift, but I think we'll just keep that between us. But priceless, totally priceless. Letting love guide, and you demonstrated that in such a beautiful way. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, it's such an honor. And then the one thing I'll reflect where you said that what we did will change the world. And I think what we realized on that first day, at least I did, to what you talk a lot about, the microcosm is the macrocosm. What we did change the world. It's not that it will, it did. And the moment it happened. And every time any one of us opens up and allows love to come in and be the guide and to heal for ourselves, or to shift a perspective, or to forgive, or to ourselves or others, in that moment, the world has changed. There's nothing else to come. It happens right then.
Yeah, so well said. You know, I see that just came on the call is one of my dear friends, Amruta. You know, she says, actually, it was really, she was the one that sent me the quote that talked about, you know, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. But when the student is truly ready, the teacher disappears. And it's interesting because the real teacher, like the opening quote in the book, is love. And in the moment, any of us choose love and choose to say yes to love, whatever it's guiding us to, you know, whether it's guiding us even to loving ourselves by what we feed ourselves here or what we feed ourselves here, it instantaneously changes definitely our lives by just making that choice. But then all the generations forward, and one thing that's been so beautiful is seeing how it changes for me, even my family going back, you know, and then my siblings. There's such a fun story I posted on Facebook and WhatsApp about my little brother, John. So much change happening for him that I would have never expected. From my mom, my sister, her family, my dad, that many of you know. So what can happen when you love yourself? And Julia Graydon, coming back to Julia Graydon, is such a perfect example of contagious healing, of contagious love, of someone showing up just to say yes. And as she showed up to say yes to herself, so many people benefited. Not only is her husband one of the featured people in the, as you open the book. Actually, I want to see if I can find him in here. Yeah, it's so fun. So Julia, this is in the Japanese book. There he is. Yes, Dr. Bill Graydon. Yeah, look here, you're in the Japanese book. And you shared such a powerful thing. We had the experience with the frozen shoulder. So many beautiful things. But as you were listening to Dr. Howard Knudsen share, Dr. Bill, anything that you want to share before Julia shares a little bit?
Well, you know, I've been so impressed with Howard and his going so deeply into the book and pulling out all those amazing secrets that are there to be incorporated in not only his own life, but into his practice. And you know, I'm a retired physician now, but having had many years of working with patients, you know, you kind of wish, gee, I was back there and helping people again. There's just so much that we can add to people's lives. And we do as we go along, but there's just so much more that we can do. And especially as we hone in to what people actually need in their lives. What do they need? What do they want? And how can we help them achieve that? That's a beautiful thing. And, I've experienced that in my own life as I focus on things. What do I want? And the beautiful experience that I had with you, Clint, and my frozen shoulder, just to watch that suddenly go from hardly being able to move that to almost up over my head. And wow, I'd experienced firsthand that are had to be in the healing process.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything that you've done to open your mind and heart to want to find real, true, deep healing. You know, there's a lot of people on the call today from all over the world, and you're each on your own path. But as Julia is sharing, I want you to think about, what has love already taught you on today's call? I want you to go ahead and put in the chat, what has love taught you on today's call? And we have some real special treats for those that can continue on the call. In Julia's story, listen from your heart and listen to what love is teaching you. But I'll already go ahead and put in the chat, what has love already taught you on today's call? Julia, please, I'm so excited to hear your story.
Thank you, Clint. I have a lot of stories, but one of the stories I want to tell is about doing last year in January. I did the 30-day detox. I've had a lot of digestive issues and trouble digesting food. I also had been on an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication for 28 years. And I really, really wanted to get off this medication because I know it has side effects going into as I grow older. So I made a commitment. I met with Dr. Pranav and my Vaidya and got the supplements and headed out on this 30-day journey to do this cleanse, and made my mung bean soup more fresh than I usually do. I am one of those who does freeze the soup. I make big batches and then freeze it. And they kind of said, don't do that, do it fresh. So I had fresh soup every day and did the super energy drinks. And I found it wasn't that hard. I thought, oh, I'm going to have to, really deprive myself doing this 30 days. And it's going to be, it could be really difficult, but I just headed out on that journey, connected. And, this Ancient Secrets, it is all about, the mission is about, like Aaron said, opening us up and aligning us with love. And there were times when I had anxiety and depression where I couldn't even feel love. I literally could not feel what is love. Like, so we have all this fluffy talk about love and gratitude. I didn't know how to feel gratitude. I didn't know how to feel love. And I felt, sick inside, and I would get really, really depressed. And so, but after I met Clint and his TED Talk and got engaged and started helping with the book and really dived into these Ancient Secrets and started participating in it. Actually, before the 30-day detox, we had these calls, 21-day calls, and we would get on Zooms during COVID, and we would do these 21-day challenges. And so I found that my heart started opening up and my body started receiving, my spirit, my emotions, everything started transforming as I stayed connected with this community. And it started out as a little Zoom community and built on that. And these programs, the 7-day cleanse, the 30-day detox, the 100-day training, they all were born from connecting on these calls. And as the book was finally published and went out, and we had the opportunity to share it with others. And then the audiobook came out. The audiobook is amazing. It has Clint's voice on it. And just little by little, these drops of love started healing me inside. So fast forward a couple years later, I finally did myself the 30-day detox in January of this year, completely got off this medication I'd been on for 28 years, no more anti-anxiety. Now I'm managing it with the supplements, the Ayush Shakti supplements, and through healthy eating, through the mung bean soup. I've eaten it every day for several years. And there's ways to actually make it better. Clint was always challenging us to, how can you make it even better? So I started watching videos of Smita and Krishna, and I found out that Dr. Naram liked to chop up just a teeny bit of jalapeno pepper. And so I started that, and I would put cinnamon and fennel. Now, those are my go-tos now. I add cinnamon, fennel, lots of extra ghee, and sometimes I'll add a little bit more of the other ingredients. So the mung bean soup became part of my life, and it became part of loving myself. So love started growing inside of me emotionally, and my mind cleared up, and I was able to calm my mind and on a regular basis meet with these Ayush Shakti doctors, because it's not like, everything's just miraculously completely better. You have to continually readjust, test, measure, and adjust, just like the recipe in our daily lives, really bring in these secrets, implement them. And then, Clint, before you take over again, I want to say this last 30 days, we just came off of another 30 days.
Well, real quick, you can still share that, but I can't go past what you shared. It was so remarkable. I mean, to be on a medication for basically antidepressant medication for for 20 years. And then to have some delicious soup and some herbal supplements that can make it so that the happiness is just more spontaneous, natural, and consistent. Like, that is unexpected awesome. And I didn't want you to just skip past that without us just acknowledging how beautiful and powerful that is, and saying and celebrating you, that if you're a microcosm of the macrocosm, what a great thing for all of us. You know, even my mom, when for the last 30-day detox, when she did it herself so completely, and then had one of her friends from school actually bought as a gift the 30-day detox and gifted it to Rachel, who shared. You know, Rachel was preparing to go for back surgery, so much pain. She said that not only the pain went away, so she didn't have to go for surgery, which is awesome. She said the most unexpected gift was that she fell more in love with herself. And as I hear you talking, Julia, it just reminds me of that so powerfully, that is really the true healing. You know, when I refer to this as a love story, that you fall more in love with yourself, it's true. And you're a living, walking example of it. And so congratulations. Now, when you want to go deeper and deeper, like you did in the 30-day miracle experiment game, and as you've done in the 100-day course and everything, other magical stuff can happen as well. So please keep sharing about that. I didn't want to stop you, but I just wanted to make sure that all of us anchor in the magic of that.
Yeah.
That you did it.
Yeah. It was a challenge. You know, these are challenges, but you know what? In the Unstoppable recording that I hope that you all have access to it, if you don't, get it. When you listen to it every day, he says, there are no problems really. They're just challenges. And those challenges are opportunities. And these opportunities open you up to say, what do I want? And what are all the possibilities for those opportunities? This has become kind of a mantra for me. In fact, we just finished a few days ago, the 30-day miracle experiment experience on abundance. And every day we had the opportunity to fill out, you know, a journal. And I printed out the pages that Clint sent us. And so I every single day, I would say, what do I want? What is it that I want to envision and bring about today? And then at the end of the day, you wrote gratitudes, like as many gratitudes as I could think of. And I found that in that process, not just the process of these tasks, but in the activation every morning of connecting with community. Because see, this is part of what's made the mung bean soup and being able to get off medication and being able to succeed and love myself even possible. It's the community. The community is key. It has an energy. It's a living organism, this community that we have right here, right now. And the Facebook groups and even the YouTubes that Krishna and Clint post, like all of it, it's all in this beautiful, like you talk about the microcosm and the macrocosm, it's this beautiful lotus blossom that we all get to be part of. And as I did that process for 30 days, I had little miracles every single day. I'm not kidding. Like little things. I'm going to give you some examples now. I wanted to go to my high school reunion down in Las Vegas. It was a 45-year reunion, but I had not signed up for it. And I found out it was too late. The deadline had passed. It was $77 a person. And so I was trying to get a hold of the people to go. And at the very last minute, I had done What Do You Want? And for that day, I wanted to be registered for that. And lo and behold, I get a text from a guy who just barely canceled, he and his wife. They couldn't go, they couldn't get a refund. And he invited us to go on his ticket. Okay. Number two, we get down to Vegas. And instead of getting a hotel, my friend invited us to come and stay at her home. And we got to connect with her and share an Ancient Secrets book with her. And she's disabled, she's at home. And so now she has that opportunity. And just story after story, we had a home that closed. We were trying to sell a house. We sold a house in Arizona, and we were able to purchase 2 more because we're real estate investors. We have a fabulous system that we work with. And we were able to close on a property in Florida. And everything went super smooth. Like that was a miracle to me because so many things with what's happening with the economy can go wrong. We were given tickets, you know, last minute. But what I found, okay, here's the miracle. It wasn't just in the receiving. It was in the giving and the receiving and the giving and the receiving. And what came to me, I wrote a poem, but I haven't been able to find it because I've been all over the place traveling. But it's the essence of the ocean waves. They go out, they come in. It's cash flow, right? The flow of giving and receiving being willing to receive and being willing to give. And the more that I found like I was giving out and sharing my gifts, I was like, that's part of the abundance, is sharing our gifts and giving them away. And then what comes back? What am I going to be open to? And how is love going to bring that gift back to me? So just time and time again, there were financial miracles that came. I found a quarter on the street when I was walking and telling Bill a story. Like, just time after time, there were beautiful things coming in and out. And by the end of the 30 days, it just felt magical. I just felt lit up. And for me, that's one of my goals and passions that I'm trying to create in my life. What do I want? I want to live lit. I want to live lit.
I think you're doing it. I think you're accomplishing that very well. I just want to say that your enthusiasm is contagious. Can you hold up your journal one more time? I just want to say, when anyone gives 100% like this, and just you see how much she marked the pages. Go away, open up to like, she lived the miracle experiment game so fully that it's no accident that the transformations have come. And you know, Dr. Ram, one of the secrets he shared in the book is whatever you do, you want to give 100%. And I learned this secret.
Yes.
Yeah, you gave 1000% for sure. One of the secrets I learned that's a little key, like this is not only for the 7-day or the 30-day detox, but in our lives. Actually, it's easier. And you guys can tell me if you find this true or not, Julie, everyone. I found for me, it's easier to give 100% than it is 90%. If I give 90%, like for instance, to the diet or the detox, it's hard because then I always have to decide, well, am I going to eat something good for my body this time or not? I always have to make a decision. But I give 100%. First of all, the decision's made, so there's not the decision fatigue. But second of all, it seems like the universe or love conspires for me to make everything easier. I go to restaurants and I've been really impressed lately. I travel the world and I go to restaurants, they're offering Hmong soup now on menus in many restaurants. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I like the saying I learned in college, never put a question mark where there should be an exclamation point. And when you put an exclamation point, I'm giving 100%, because commitment is commitment. 100% is 100%. Anything less is not commitment. And when you finally commit from your soul, from your heart, and you just say, I'm doing this and I'm going to find a way. And even if you fall down, your commitment you can fall down and you can make mistakes, but there are no mistakes because it's just feedback. It just tells you, to make an adjustment.
There's no such thing as failure. There's only feedback. Is so powerful, so true. And thank you, Julia. Thank you for co-hosting the call. You know, I feel like we've been on such a journey today. Intuitively, I just reached out and I asked Ken Honda, it's okay if we do his interview next week. I want to make sure we don't rush through it. And I'd rather that we sit in this space of allowing us to anchor in what love taught us here. You know, and I found that one of the most powerful experiences for healing on these calls is the breakout rooms, because in those spaces you have a chance, like Julia was saying, it's giving and receiving. Like sometimes if it's you're just listening, you're receiving, you don't get the optimum or maximum benefit from these calls. A lot of the healing, a lot of the magical healing, in fact, I would say majority of the magical healing happens in the breakout rooms when you have a chance to give and receive. And when you share, what did love teach you on today's call? Or when you share what happened to you when you were in a part of a 30-day delicious detox or a 7-day delicious day, or what happens to you as you've been living the ancient secrets, you don't know whose life it changes. And as you share and the ripples go out, it just magnifies coming back to you. And so, Julia, first of all, I wanted to thank you so much for sharing your powerful story, for bringing on Dr. Howard Knudsen today. And then I just want to have this as a bridge point into the breakout rooms. I encourage you to stay, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, to stay in the breakout rooms, to anchor in what did love teach you today. Now, because I'm very aware, like for instance, Carol Ray and others in our lives that are in a moment of, maybe they're not in the midst of the miracle, maybe they're in the midst of the struggle and they don't realize that is also part of the miracle. Whoever is in a moment in which there is some struggle, I just want, as we're doing I love you and I'm with you, as we're speaking this, to also hold them in our hearts. Does that sound okay to everyone? So let's do this. Before we go in the breakout rooms, and Cornelia, if you can kind of get things set up so we can just go randomly into the breakout rooms, but I just want everyone to put their hands together. Yeah, I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
And then also to put it on your heart as well. I love me and I'm with me.
and I'm with you.
Yeah.
I love me
With me. I love me
and I'm with me.
I love you and I'm with you.
So beautiful. I don't know how to do the showing the That is so beautiful and magical, whatever music you have on, Belle. That's really soothing to my heart. Thank you so much. So now for those that can...
I put it in the chat, Clint, so much magnificence. Deva Premal and Mitan, you know, speaking out of joyous sharing. Waves keep rolling in. And then I said, and they also roll out. But it's really a beautiful piece to anchor in today. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now, Cornelia, if you can open up the breakout room so people have like 4 or 5 people in each breakout room. And those who can't stay on, I encourage you just to take a moment to anchor in what did love teach you today? And as I was reading in the chat, my heart got so expanded even more by what you were sharing. And I think in the breakout room, so much magic can happen. Cornelia, are you able to open up the breakout rooms? Oh, fantastic. So you should see on your screen, you can join a breakout room. Love you and with you. After the breakout room, you can just leave the call and we'll look forward to seeing you. Today's the last day to sign up for the detox program. So if you had a yes, love said yes to you, or you know someone that could benefit, make sure you share with them. Otherwise, we'll see you next Sunday. Love you and I'm with you.